For £600,000, I could have bought a brand new Lamborghini Revuelto. Instead, I bought this one for £230,000 with a small issue. It was crashed. And with this car being a hybrid motor, it's been harder than ever to try and rebuild. This could go two ways now. We still haven't even managed to get the car started. Why won't you go? The parts are insanely expensive. That front subframe is £55,000. And it seems after this car got in an accident, the computer completely shuts down the hybrid system. That is going to be the biggie code. And no matter what I did, I weren't able to reset the crash data to tell the car that it was safe to start. But today, we're going to get it started, running, and driving. But first off, colour change. Now, even though this car's satin black, it's actually just a wrap. And being that we're going to put all new panels on this car, we're going to have to get those panels painted to match the original paint, which is underneath the wrap, which is white. And actually, I think it looks pretty good in white.
This isn't the Revuelto, is it?
Yeah.
Why is it white?
It's always been white.
No, it hasn't.
It only had a black roof, that's it.
Yeah. You're lying, the doors have been black.
That, in my opinion, looks loads better. White with a red interior. Now all we've got to do is try and get it started, fix it, rebuild it, drive it, and everything else. Let's get it inside. Starting this car is out of my hands. There's something in Lamborghini's computer which is telling the car it's unsafe to start. And I haven't got the tools to be able to turn that off. But we're going to get someone in later who might have those tools. We got so close to fixing this rear suspension last time, but now we can fix it for good. Check this out. Most of the suspension is actually okay. The thing that's broken is this, which is the rear wheel steering. And I think that activates at high speed to help the cornering of the car. So we're going to change that. And also, it's supposed to have an anti-roll bar drop link connecting from the anti-roll bar down onto the lower wishbone there. And this one is, well, it's dead there. And it's supposed to look like that. So in the meantime, whilst we wait for a technician to come down with a computer that might be able to get this car started, I'm going to do everything I can to try and fix all the rest of the broken parts that are on the car. At least then, when the technician comes, there'll be less fault codes on the dash, and technically the car will be in a more safe state to start. First thing I'm replacing is this rear wheel steer module. Bolts to the chassis, then bolts to the wheel hub. Once I've tightened the two bolts which actually hold it to the car on, I can then go and plug it in. There's 3 plugs for it. Great success. Whoa.
Why's it done that then? Just woke up suddenly.
It's just gone like, oh, I'm fixed. But we found it wasn't as easy as that. But we'll come back to that later. For now, I'm just popping on a simple anti-roll bar drop link. Again, just 2 bolts which hold this in place. And that's the rear left suspension fully complete. We figured out how the fluid system works in this car. And we've got one coolant reservoir here, which all the coolant goes around the battery system and cools all the hybrid system. And another one over there, that one, and that is empty, and that cools all the engine system. And that's empty because this has well and truly perished. We're gonna have to fix all these pipes, fix this radiator, and when I say fix, I mean just replace, because they're on the floor right here. So I think I'm gonna build it up, off it, and then put it on it, and that's how we're gonna go. With a lot of heat comes a lot of cooling. Another radiator that we've got to fit to the car. On top of that, the coolant hoses that are damaged actually run all the way underneath the car. One of the clips was really difficult to get off, so I ended up grinding it.
Oh my god!
Coolant! To find there was still coolant left in there. But once that clip was off, I could go back up to the top of the car and guide out the broken hose. You can see how squashed up it is here. Now I couldn't just buy this broken part of the hose separately from Lamborghini. I had to buy not only the metal part, but also another part which attached to it. And instead of replacing the whole lot, I'm just going to separate it at the rubber hose, which leaves me with the actual part I need. Because So I can slide the new part down, back underneath the car, and connect it up to where I disconnected it from. After that, it's another coolant pipe. Luckily, Lamborghini would sell me this one separately. It's strange how they arrange these parts. Once I've installed that, I can now begin to lift the frame on which holds that radiator at the back. This bolts to the rear frame of the car, which Bob has previously repaired. So now it's a test of whether it actually all lines up. And of course, it did. And once that was in place, there was still more hoses. 2 tiny little rubber ones, which connect those 2 metal pipes to that radiator. And once this radiator is actually in, we might be able to put some coolant in the car. Now also on that rear frame is a lot of the vacuum system. There's a vacuum pump, and this plastic thing here, which looks like 3 bubbles, holds vacuum in it. A lot of this stuff is just overcomplicated things, which would be opening flaps inside the engine. But without that, we'd have a lot of engine lights and loss of power. So it's crucial that all the vacuum stuff does actually hold vacuum. Finally, the intake shrouds are on, and that's about it. This side is now built up and complete, we think. But unfortunately, this side here has taken a perishment as well. Look, it's yeah, it's all broken and twisted and bent. But the radiator survived and the oil cooler survived. So I think I'm going to switch out this into that one, which I've had to buy. Bob could have definitely fixed it, but it's the time frame as well. We've got to get this all on by tomorrow morning. So I'm going to switch all this out, and then hopefully we'll have 2 good, complete sides, and we can move on to whacking some fluids in. Let's go. So now I'm doing exactly the same as what we did on the left-hand side to the right-hand side. But instead of there being a radiator on the left, there's an oil cooler on the right-hand side. Luckily, I didn't have to unmount it or unbolt it. I can move the frame around it, secure the cooler to the frame, and then the frame to the car. That's both sides complete. Progress. Look at that. Air intakes in. To me, it looks way less crash damage. To a lot of other people, they look at it and think, what have you done? Well, at least, to me, it looks better. It does look better. We're getting somewhere. The next step we are going to take, I wish I could start it. We still can't. And I wish I could fill it with coolant, but we can't, because to fill it with coolant, we've got to vacuum fill it through here. So we've got to suck out all the air in the cooling system before we put coolant in there to stop it getting any airlocks. We've left the air compressor at the old unit, so we're going to need to get that. But I think there's another job we can do before we fill it with coolant, and it's an exciting one because it involves noise. Exhaust! Valvetronic exhaust. I think I may be the first one with this Valvetronic exhaust. And on it, before, was an aftermarket exhaust which was custom made, and I never got to hear it. Now, even though this Revuelto is hybrid assisted, it still holds the Lamborghini V12, which still means we should get that V12 scream. And here is the new exhaust. A full Valvetronic system, all the way from the manifolds forward. This could sound insane. Okay, I was not expecting this. So this has all been hand built in the US. We've got some crazy X pipe, obviously, I reckon to like increase the flow of the exhaust. And that's gonna sound crazy. There's no baffles in it at all. And then on top of that, we've then got what we like to call warranty losers. We're going to lose warranty with these pipes for sure, but this is also going to give us flames. But like most things on this car, it wasn't easy to fit. To get to the 2 V-band clamps which hold the front pipe to the manifold, I had to reach in through the wheel arch, and there's very little access. And even then, the pipes didn't want to come out. I'm not sure there's enough room. The pipes have got the catalytic converters on, so they're pretty big. And squeezing it out between this top strut bar and the anti-roll bar wasn't going to happen. So I had to start removing the anti-roll bar as one complete unit in hopes that when I've got that out the way, I should be able to slide the exhaust out. Here we go. Look at that, it's nearly coming out there. That'll be enough, surely. Here we go. It still wasn't enough. I got to remove even more parts to get this exhaust out. But eventually, yes, it was out. Just one lambda sensor that I needed to remove to pull it fully away from the car, which is easy enough done once I've got the exhaust to this point here. Now, I've just got to remove the other front part, which meant I needed to take off this huge strut brace here with loads of extra little parts on it as well. Now I've got much better access to it, and you can see the difference here between the stock front pipe and the Valvetronic one. This thing's gonna scream. That's if it stops. Now I've got better access, I've slid in the new Valvetronic front pipe to sit flush against the existing exhaust manifolds and then tighten that onto there.
My turn to do this side.
You excited?
Oh yes, overwhelmed.
Round 2, but on the other side. Eventually we got it out, which means we can slide the new Valvetronic one in. Once we've got it in, the lambda sensors go into it, and then we can tighten up the V-band clamps which hold the front pipe to the exhaust manifold. Both front pipes in. Time for me to reinstall this strut brace, trying to remember where everything went. And whilst I was doing that, my dad wanted to take a look at the old exhaust that come off it.
The John Tarney.
The John Tarney! Unfortunately, the John Tarney exhaust was completely wrecked. A lot of the titanium pipes got squashed in the accident. But a good effort from John. It's a shame I never got to hear that exhaust though. Now I can slide back in the anti-roll bar, bolt that back up, then the new heat shielding's going in place.
Here we go. On goes the exhaust.
The easy part, sliding the Valvetronic exhaust up to the new Valvetronic front pipes. 2 bolts, and that's job done.
It looks mad though, look at that.
Yeah, it just looks crazy when there's flames going to be flying out of that. If it starts.
What do you think that exhaust's going to sound like?
By the end of this video, you want to know what that exhaust's going to sound like?
Go on then. He's got no faith.
Here comes the bar. Here comes the bar.
Did he just mix Pirates of the Caribbean with Here Comes the Girls?
Oh, pretty girls got pretty worries, knock me down slow.
This bar actually holds the exhaust mounts, which now means I can tighten the exhaust onto it. And there's 4 of them, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Not only does it hold the exhaust mounts, it also holds the latch for the engine bay cover as well. And once that's on, we can move to the next step. Before we put the bottom heat shield in, this is a wing actuator, and this was stupid money, but we needed to buy 2 because both of these were snapped off. You can see here, look, it was snapped off just there, and unfortunately the other bit is no longer to be existing. So let's get this wing actuator installed, and the other one should be arriving within the next day. Remember, the goal here is just to get as much electrical things as possible plugged in to give the car no excuse not to start. We don't know whether we've shot ourselves in the foot because there's still a heat shield to go in here, but there is this wire here still left over, and with the yellow plug on, that means it's part of the airbag or the crash system. And we need to make sure all of that is all plugged in and ready to go, because if we try and start the car and something's unplugged, it might stop us from being able to start it. But for some reason, Lamborghini don't list anything to do with like airbags on the site that we're looking at. We know this is going to be for a crash sensor because there's the same plugs which are on the very front, which I'll show you. So I've just Googled the part number and ordered a Volkswagen Audi crash sensor, and it looks like, oh, it does go in there, perfect there, look at that. Goes in there, slots in, oh yes. I can't remember what car this was actually on. But could this be the reason why the car wouldn't start or it wouldn't clear the crash data? Because it had one crash sensor which wasn't plugged in. You never know, these newer cars are so sensitive to things like this. Let's hope. That should be all the airbag system fully connected now. Curtain airbags in, steering wheel airbag in, passenger side airbag in, seat airbags in, and all the crash sensors on. Great stuff. Now we have so much more plugged in. But there's one last thing I want to put in before we try and start it, and that's the coolant. And because the cooling system is so big, we need to make sure that we don't get any air locks or air bubbles in there. So, best way to do that is, as we've learned, generally Volkswagen and Audi cars tend to be okay with air locks because they put the coolant tank so high up, so any air rises out, but we're not going to risk it. We are going to try and vacuum fill this so we can suck all the air out that's in and then replace it with coolant. But generally, they tend to be okay, but let's see. We need to put our vacuum filler into the coolant reservoir, plug the hole up nicely, then attach the air line to it. I'm going to turn on the compressor. And now this is going to blow pressurized air across the coolant reservoir, sucking out all the air inside the cooling system. Once we've sucked a vacuum, I can turn the tap off and you can see we're holding negative pressure, so there's no leaks. Then I can grab my Valvoline coolant, fill the pipe up with only coolant so there's no air actually in the pipe before I put it on. Then open the tap and the negative pressure from the cooling system will suck all the coolant into the car. And that should hopefully give us no air locks and a full cooling system. This is our secret weapon. We've got VAG code in Leicester and he's going to see if we could get him, because he's got all the Lamborghini software. He did the Urus before, and we're going to see what we can do. I've literally just pressed the ignition on in the car. Now it's deciding it won't go into park. There's gearbox malfunction. I don't even know what it's doing. So hopefully he'll be able to read it and see what's going on with this car. And if it does start, that will be a miracle.
I want to hear it start, especially that exhaust.
It'll be a massive moment if it starts. But at the minute, I'm not feeling hopeful. Like it has a different fault every time I press the ignition on.
It is a Lamborghini.
It is, yeah. Right, it's down to you.
Right, let's go.
Nathan from VAG Coding has the Lamborghini official software to get into the car. He can now plug into it, read all the fault codes, and he's able to access and do whatever Lamborghini can do at the dealership. And there's some stuff which needs coding into the car, like the new headlight. So now we're deactivating the hybrid,
Yeah.
so which is what we've just done, and then once we deactivate it, we're going to read the codes, and then reactivate it, and hopefully when we reactivate it, the crash data should have gone. But it didn't seem to work. Although Nathan has the software to do this procedure, it needed extra authentication. 5 minutes to 12 at night. It's not looking good. You need this login to be able to log into this car and reset the crash system. Only a few people have this login, so we're speaking, well, VAG Code in Leicester was speaking to someone abroad who has that login who could then do it. But the problem is, because it's now 12 at night, they're 3 hours ahead, they've gone sleep. So it looks like tomorrow morning, first thing, 8:30 in the morning, we're gonna give it another go. But this really could end up with me rebuilding a car which doesn't start. See you tomorrow. Okay, it's the next morning. VAG Code in Leicester is back, and he reckons he's cleared it now.
You've got such a big smile on your face.
You reckon it's done it?
Hopefully it's done, so give it a go.
Do you have faith?
Well, I don't know, because it's something that I don't know anything about, and he's just played around on a computer and finally got it going. This is going to be it. Will it go?
Is that ignition on?
Yeah, it says shift to P. Won't go in P. No. It still wouldn't go. Still can't do it. And that crash shut-off code was still there. So it's 11:30 now. We've been on this since about 8 o'clock last night. Multiple people have looked at it. We're still going. We're still trying to find this problem. We managed to clear the fault, then it come back. Some people have said we need to complete the whole car before we try and clear the faults. There's only a few more things missing off the car, but you never know with these Lamborghinis. It might need literally the front bumper on for it to be able to start. You just don't know with these new things. But We're still going. It could come down to rebuilding the full car, having it set down and then trying, and if that doesn't work, then we've just got a really expensive rolling car. Yeah. We was trying everything, and so many specialists from around the world were logging onto Nathan's laptop to try and solve it as well. Remember, this has never been done before, so everyone who gets on and tries to do this is learning from scratch. But I'm sure there's got to be a way. That can't just be the end for the Lamborghini after one crash. It's day 3. We're trying again. We may have a code to get in. Seems that every single thing on this car needs to be coded to the car. Even the headlights don't work because they need to be coded to the car. Gone are the days where you can just go to your main dealer, buy a part, plug it into your car, and it works. Headlights don't work. Rear wheel steer don't work. The car don't work. You can't even unlock the door from the inside. I don't know what's going on. Can we do it today? So for the 3rd time, Nathan gets his laptop out and plugs into the car again. And by this time, more parts have arrived that I can start fitting to it. And the more I fit to the car, the more chance it's got of starting, because the less fault codes it'll actually have. So now I'm fitting heat shields, bumper brackets, all of which won't make any difference to it starting, but all the electrical stuff should. And on go the rear lights. One for the left hand side and one for the right. But the question is, will these need coding as well? It's actually starting to look like a car. Now I can't align this up to anything, in fact, because we've got nothing to reference off. So it is just on at the minute, and once we get the panels on, we should be able to like align it all up. Now, if these lights work, then hopefully our look's changed. Let's see. First step. Indicators. Oh my God.
Look at that.
Look at that. As if they work. Okay. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed for tomorrow morning, where VAG Coding Leicester is back to go again with the guy from China who's wrote a code onto his laptop, which hopefully, I don't know what's going on. We have no idea, but step by step, it's looking better at least, but we're still just not moving. Previous step, we removed the wrap of the rear clamshell so we can see the extent of the damage that was caused to the carbon on it. And instead of buying a new one, we sent it over to a carbon specialist to get repaired. The clam is back from the carbon guys, and they've repaired all the little cracks in it with carbon fibre, nice and OEM actually, like it's all little bits of carbon fibre just all patched in here. That saved us at least like £10,000 doing that. So now we're going to drop this off to the body shop, get painted white with the rest of the panels, and that can go on. And when I dropped that off, I picked up the front wing which had been painted. But even though we got the correct colour code, the paint just didn't seem to match. But we needed to see whether it aligned up anyway. This is a total guess, this is, because this, I'm guessing. Oh.
That was good.
There's quite a few bolts which hold the wing on, and there's adjustment to all of them. At the minute, the only thing I've got to line it up to is the door. Slightly off. And that looks just about right. Just the colour we need to sort out now.
Draws to match colour.
Yeah, it's just a bit bluey, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. What do you reckon? You're just going to have to paint into it?
We'll go back, see what this brings up, because obviously we've been scanning off the carbon as such, or plexiglass, whatever it is.
Yeah.
See if it brings up the same match. If not, it's going to be blended, isn't it?
Yeah. Nothing seems to be straightforward with this car. It looks like the body shop guys may need the full car so they can blend the paint with the rest of the panels. As some panels are aluminium and some panels are carbon fibre, it really affects the way the colour looks of the paint. In the meantime, I've got 2 bonnet hinges that I need to replace because both of them are bent. In goes the left one, and I'm not doing the bolts up too tight, just so I can move it and adjust it all round when the new bonnet arrives.
Are you sick of plugging into this car yet?
I am, yes.
Is it going to start today?
Hopefully, fingers crossed, we should get the car started today.
Yes, positivity.
Liam's here with a bonnet. Got a bonnet.
That looks mental. Look at
Look
that.
at that. This is from Duke Dynamics, but that looks like a Lamborghini SVJ compared to the stock bonnet. Look at that. That looks way better. This bonnet was actually part of a body kit, and it was cheaper to buy the kit than it was just to buy one Lamborghini bonnet. So it made perfect sense.
How's it looking?
That's the man.
At the minute, we're about like 15 hours of labour in, and he's just wore that seat away. Now I've got to transfer all the hardware off the standard bonnet and fit it onto my aftermarket one. That's including all the hoses for the washer jets, which actually slide through it, which Hannah's helping with here. Washers are through. We need to widen these holes a bit because aftermarket mods and all that, so we need to put the washer jets in there. But then we've got this lovely, beautiful £11,000 worth of bonnet, which was £11,000 worth of bonnet, but it's now damaged. And do you know what? We're going to sign it. In the next, let's say 50 orders, buys some of the new H3BT merch, is going to win 11 grand worth of Revuelto bonnet to make into a sledge. Someone took one of the brake discs home last week. Now one of you is going to take the bonnet home. And the whole team can't thank you all enough for watching and supporting us with this build. Thanks to every single one of you that has subscribed to the channel. With the new bonnet prepped, we can now line it up to the car. And it took a lot of lining up. But once we was happy with it, we had to drill a few holes out for the bonnet latch, which my dad's just done. Then he could bolt that to the bonnet. Then I've got a few mods to do. All new clips in my seal, like that. And I need to drill out the holes, which I made a stencil using the old one. I've made some arts and crafts of where it needs to go. We're just going to drill the holes out for them. And they'll all line up. I've got to be very careful here that I don't drill through to the other side of the bonnet, as this one's made out of fiberglass, not carbon fibre. Once the holes are drilled, I can clip in the old seal, and that's one complete bonnet. Last few touches now. The last piece. Yeah.
I'm glad you went with that bonnet over the stock one.
Yeah, it's looking, the bonnet looks a lot nicer than the stock one, doesn't it?
100%.
After a long time, we've finally lined up the bonnet, which is so important because the car still doesn't start. They're still in there, and we're still continuing to build it up. Let's continue.
When I came here today,
Yeah.
my seat was upright like this, and slowly throughout the day, it's just gone further and further back
like
to the point where
foods.
I'm actually just going to go sleep in a minute.
Yeah.
More parts arrived back from the body shop, including the whole rear clamshell, the rear wing, and a couple of the rear arches, along with the front bumper as well. We've got this guy on from Dubai who's
Yep.
a EV whiz, and he can't communicate with it, so he thinks there's a problem inside with what we've done with the box. So we're going back to this box to see if something's not plugged in.
Just
This
turn
guy's
down.
the whiz.
What time is it in Dubai?
It's at 23:56.
Okay.
It's nearly midnight. Now I'm removing the junction box, which you remember last time the pyro fuse was stored in. And this was the reason it was cutting off power to the hybrid battery, which is used to start the car. This guy in Dubai thinks there may be a problem with the connection in this junction box, so we've just taken it out to have a look to see if there was any damage. But after inspecting it, that's good. It all looked good. So there's peace of mind there. Look how fast we got that out. We're like, almost know what we're doing now. Now, we've got to slide it back in and connect it all back up. But the actual crash data on the car, which is stopping it from starting, is stored in the ECU, which is in that box. So it's vital he can communicate with it. But we seem to be making some progress now. And whilst they carry on with the coding, my dad's building up some of the clamshell. And as it seems the whole world is coming together to help us build this car, we had some geography lessons.
Do you know what the capital city of Czech Republic is?
Czech Republic. Prague.
There you go.
Is it really?
Yeah, Budapest.
Budapest. That's that is Turkey.
No.
Is it not?
I think it's Hungary, isn't it?
Maybe we're not so good with geography after all. Let's stick to rebuilding cars. On goes the new brake light for the clamshell.
Capital city of Australia, come on.
I know it. What is it? And there's the clamshell all built up. Time for me and Matt to install it on the car. This is a huge piece, so it's going to be pretty hard to line up.
I've got a question for you both. What's the capital city of Australia?
Sydney.
It's looking good. Lining everything up is going to be a nightmare. All of this all needs to be bolted on. There's so many bolts. But you might think I'm absolutely nuts for driving a car which is this badly damaged. Well, we were hoping to drive it. But what if I told you there's a lot of cars on the road which have been probably this badly damaged and a lot of people don't even know about. You might not even know that your car was damaged, but there is a way to find out. And that's by putting in your registration into Car Vertical. After that, you'll get a report which looks like this. You'll be able to see if the car's got any outstanding finance on it, if it's had any mileage fraud, or if it's ever been stolen. Emergency catch down somewhere. On top of that, you'll see a full timeline of the car. Every time it's had a number plate change or an ownership change. The thing is as well, if your car was in an accident and it was auctioned off at the car crash auction site, it's likely that on the Car Vertical report, you'd actually be able to see the photos of the car when it was auctioned off at that auction website. Got the car on the screen now. Last little bits. After this video, if you did want to check your car out to make sure that it's not been an accident, you can do with the link in the description. And on screen now, there is a discount code as well, which will get you a discount on that check. Hopefully, you don't find any unwanted history. Next thing, this wasn't damaged. And this isn't wrapped, this is how it comes. Satin black, which is cool. Now Lamborghini maybe have collaborated with Mansory because the latch was just Mansory glued on up. And in the accident, it decided to delete itself. So we're gonna do a collaboration with Mansory by gluing that back on there. So then that can latch into the lock. But before I do that, I'm gonna make sure that we can unlatch the latch. Because if we can't unlatch the latch and we close it down, then it's latched forever. And it means it won't start and we won't be able to unlatch it. So let's latch the latch.
Yes, that worked.
Sweet. So now I can apply the Mansory glue to the latch, just like they do at the Lamborghini factory. Once that's on, go back over to the boot lid or the engine cover and stick it in place. Then I can lower the boot down onto the latch and let the glue set. Day 5. Any progress?
Still working on
Whilst Nathan still works away at trying to get this thing started, I can now start to build up the rear bumper.
Oh.
Oh. Okay, we need a new fog light. That's broken. Right, I thought, the rear fog light's broke. That's alright, it's LED. How much can LED be? £502.40 for that. The thing is, we can't argue with the price. There's nowhere else I can get that fog light. It's specifically made for the Revuelto. Some of the other sensors, which I'm putting in now, are used on other cars like the Urus. But that doesn't save you much money. Oh my goodness. There it is. One rear bumper. Ish. We are missing a few things. We're missing the intake areas, which go in here. We need them. And we're missing 2 reflectors, which sit there, and one on the other side. But other than that, looking pretty good. I think it's good enough just to line up to the car for now and plug it all in, because that could help with starting the car. The more we have plugged in, the better chance we have. And on this rear bumper, there's a lot of electrics. Parking sensors, lane assist sensors, and a rear camera. Although we do still have a fair bit missing from it. But it's better on than off. Rear bumper's nearly there. It needs securing underneath these things. Fake aero. or could actually have some kind of function because there is a hole, but I could then clip the other piece in the left hand side. Then underneath the car we're installing a new under tray. Most of the underneath is completely flat, which I think helps for the aero and also protects the battery that's underneath. And that's the rear almost together. Rear bumper on to an extent. It's a bit of a cheat code because it will have to come off again, but it's just so we know what it looks like. And it's looking better, it's looking better. A few things we need to do, and one of them is the front bumper, which is also a brand new one, which has been painted. All this needs now is building up, but also we're missing parts off this. We ain't gonna know what parts we're missing until we start building it up. So let's build this up, get that on, and we're almost there for the big start, hopefully. Now, my dad's gonna build up the front bumper. Parking sensors, lane assist sensors, there's then side marker lights as well, which are just blanks I believe, and the distinctive daytime running lights on the Revuelto. Luckily one side was okay after the accident, but I had to order all the lights on the left hand side as that took the most hit. Whilst my dad's building up the front bumper, we've got a tub and all of that to put in. We're full committing now, we're full committing. This was another thing that was damaged in the accident.
Bumper ready to go on.
Although you may notice a few missing trims which are still on order. Hopefully they come soon. For now, we can line up the bumper to the car and make sure all the body panels are good. Pretty much the whole front of this thing has come off. So if anything's out of line, it's going to show us now. Okay, bumper is on to an extent without the few missing bits, but we're getting everything just plugged in enough. This needs trims around the outside, so we're getting there. Chances that that light needs coding? High chance. That light was already on it. That seems to work, but this should line up now. Last few little bits now before the final start up. My dad is making a stencil round the Revuelto badge which sits on the side skirt because we're going to need to replace the side skirt but reuse the badge. So we want to make sure that we can get it in the exact location where it come off. Of course, we need a number plate. The number plate going on, MATBMX or RevBMX if you join them. I think that's pretty cool. Courtesy of Car Reg. And you can get a free reg when you order a car reg through Car Reg using my discount code. Right, this should be easy to line up because it's got a line on it. Yes!
That finishes it off, I think.
That does look nice. Final, last bit, new side skirt. It's got to go on, let's quickly get that on. Old one is here, it just had a tiny bit broken out of it. New one is here. Let's clip this on. Let's just push on. Now I can screw the side skirt in place and my dad can apply his stencil. Bit of the glue comes out and my dad sticks it down into place. Exactly where it was in the OEM spot.
Beautiful.
The last few bits, and I'll be honest with you guys, I thought we might have it done by this week. Everything absolutely finished up, starts up, we drive out here, everyone lives happily ever after. But these wheels are not very happily ever after, are they? They are perished. And that's why we've got Wheel Mania to replace the wheels. This is gonna completely transform it. There they are, look. Oh my God, they are wide. That ain't a front one, is it? Oh, they look sick. No way. They look way better than I expected. That looks wicked, that does. That looks well good. Oh, they are absolutely sick. Look at the width on them as well. I think these have got to go down with some of the best wheels that we've made with Wheel Mania. Fully forged, custom made wheels for the Revuelto. We've used the OEM specs to go off, So the sizes are the same, so we can use the Bridgestone tyres that are used when the car leaves the factory. But how good do they look? Yeah, boy. That looks sick.
That looks mad.
That looks well nice. What a transformation. If you want to get some custom made wheels, or any wheels in fact, or wheel refurbishments, you know where to go. Wheel Mania is in the link in the description box below. Email them, WhatsApp them, text them, turn up at their house. Right, let's get the grand reveal. Let's see if it starts. The Revuelto now looks amazing. And we've come so far in such a short time. I wasn't expecting it to look anything like this in the short amount of time we've had on the car. But now we need to see whether it drives. Before we see if this car starts, we're going to do a price breakdown because the car is pretty much almost done. All the parts needed to finish the car are ordered. Some obviously haven't arrived. Remember, we've already spent £230,000 on the car. We've already spent £90,000 on parts. We've already spent £20,000 on parts. And then I have spent a further £8,500. Which now brings the total cost to £5,500. Which is a solid price for one of these Revueltos. Especially in this spec. And on top of that, I actually went onto CarWow and put the old registration in of this Revuelto to see what the trade-in price would be. And it was just over 515,000. So even if we traded it in, we'd do all right. That's if it started. This is the moment then you've all been waiting for. Does it start? The dash is all working now. We've got 77% battery. We've got nearly 100% worth of fuel in there. 4 miles of hybrid charge. Does it go? Straight into petrol mode. And the answer is no. It doesn't go. And midway through trying to get this to go, we found out why. The verdict is Lamborghini haven't even developed the software to be able to turn off the crash data that this car has. They've not even developed it, which makes absolutely no sense. How can they release a car but not develop the software to delete crash data if it's ever been in an accident? I know it's a new car. So technically, Lamborghini's fix for this right now is to buy a whole new battery, which comes with that battery junction box at the front of the car. That's their fix. That's £35,000. And even then, there's no guarantee that that is actually going to work. So we're stuck. Do we wait for the software to be developed? How long is that going to take? Do I risk it and buy a new battery with a junction box? Do I wait for a breaker car to come along with a battery on it and a junction box? We're effectively stuck. There is no fix for this. But we have had messages saying that Lamborghini are on it at trying to develop the software to clear the crash data to allow this to start. How much that's going to cost, I don't know. Whether we're going to be able to do it or not, I don't know. So effectively, I've now got a £425,000 ornament. This might be one of the only cars we take a huge loss on, but who knows? We might get the software sooner, we might get it later, I don't know. But if you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. No, I don't know it now.
Oh.
What is it?
Canberra.
What?
Capital city Australia is Canberra.
Never heard of it.
Like a drug that I just can't deny.